Uh, few things. Number one, remember it asked, when did he mata Sami al-Bakr al-Adhana, right? I was thinking about it. I went back to the text. Al-Adhan is, al-Ana, it's fine. But actually there is a time which we can mention, right? The time, it would be much better to mention the time, right? For example, al-Ana. So al-An, actually it goes back to what? It goes back to this time, right? So this would be a better answer. But here, only thing you have to know that if you replace al-an with the as-sa'a, as-sadisa, the only thing is that we don't know how to say it like that. The book didn't teach you like that. Then it would be as-sa'ata, as-sadisata. It cannot be two. Anyway, I think that's fine if it's something that uh, we can do, to improve. Instead of saying he heard it now, the now doesn't quite make sense in this context because it happened in the past. So you might want to say the time. Okay. So you can say as-sa'ata as-sadisa. Okay. That's all. And of course you can say sabahan, meanings in the morning, because it might be confused. 6. Masa'an would be evening. Sabahan is the morning. Another one, remember, I was stumbling upon what ayah this book is talking about. Mal ayatul lati tu'allimu al-muslim al-wudu'a. Okay, what is the ayah that teaches? And the book didn't mention for sure. Book didn't mention any ayah. But then I was thinking about, they're actually talking about the ayah in the Quran. I got it for you. I'm gonna show you. They're talking about this ayah in the Quran. Okay, this one is, guys, is very explicit description of how to perform wudu. And that's why when you'll see a lot of those words that Allah is using it, you'll recognize them because we've studied in that text. Okay, this is from Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 6. The verse is quite big, but in the beginning, where is in the beginning is the ayah. Beginning part of the ayah is talking about the wudu. Okay, so for example, Allah says, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, idha kumtum ila salati, faghsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum ila marafiq, wamsahu biru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn." As you can see, a lot of these words are, you should be able to recognize. Maybe the words are in different form. That's something that is okay, inshallah we'll learn them, but you should be able to pick up some of these things, right? Remember, we had a word, amana. Who remembers what amana means? Hmm? What did we say? Amana, this is a verb, and yu'minu is to what? Believe, right? Amana yu'minu is to believe. So this is the verb here we have, right? Remember what I said, you can write hamza and alif like this, or you can write it like this. Okay, the standard way of writing would be you write like this. In the mushaf, that's the way they write. Okay, but you can write it like that, it's fine. So when you say amana, and when you have ali, when you bring waw and alif, this is a plural. So what is amana? What is the pronoun for amana in the past tense? Hmm? Pronoun would be what? Huwa, he. Very nice. So if it's he, and this is a plural of he, so it would be they, right? It would be. So this is, I'm not going to explain all of these things, inshallah. Those things will come, but I just wanted to mention that you can see how it's coming from the same verb. So they believe, who believes, like they're referring to the one who believes. Then it says, either, anyway, the kumtum, see, this word is also from the word with verb which we know, qama. What is qama? Qama means to stand, and he stood, right? So the pronoun is he. And this is a little bit tricky, inshallah we'll learn. I just wanted to show you that so that you can recognize the word. It is in the past saying you plural, you stood. So qama is he stood, Qumtum is you plural stood. Okay, so at least you should be able to recognize them, right? As-salah, as-salah. So sorry, what is the other meaning of either? Is the same thing. When it would be when or if. Either is means when or if. So I suppose you can say both ways. If you stand for the prayer, or you can say when you stand for the prayer, right? So the past tense is here doesn't mean that it's talking about something that you have done in the past, because it's a conditional statement. It means whenever you stand. So that's the meaning in the prayer. So, and then also, I want you to think about, look at this word and see if you can figure out the verb that we studied last time. Faghsilu. What do you think is the verb is? Or the word that you should be able to recognize? Faghsilu. When you look at this, what word should come in your mind? We talk about, yes, ghasala, yes, ghasala. So here, ghasala. Okay, so same thing. The fa is so. And remember, we talked a little bit about the command verbs, that, if you want to make it into command, you have hamzat. Anyway, this is not the discussion here right now. So only thing I want you to make, make you feel that you can recognize something. So you can at least make some sense out of those things, even though maybe you're not familiar with all these different forms. So faksilu means saying, Allah saying that when you stand up for the prayer, this fa actually answer with the if. Actually, word is iksilu, wash. And this is again, waw and alif is what? You're talking about the plural. And this plural, anyway, I really don't want to confuse you. This plural, because when you have a command, can you command third person people? You cannot command third person, right? With the command verb. You command who? You command second person. So wow here coming to make the second person plural. So this wow is not the third person plural. This is a command verb, so it's a second person plural. I really didn't want it to go too much in detail here, but looks like it's going that direction. Anyway, so it's just saying, wash your what? Now is Allah's going to tell you, wash your what? Allah is saying, wujuhakum. See, you have wuju and kum, you understand kum. Yes. Which one are you referring to? This wow, or yes, this wow is both of them actually second person plural. The verb wow is also second person plural, and this kum is also your second person plural. So now, what is wuju? We learned this, right? Wajhun. Yes, wajhun. So the plural is wuju. So, and we have a fatha, so we know this is the object of the verb ghasala. So Allah is asking you to wash your face. Wa aydiyakum. What is ay? This is a plural of yad. Yes, so yadun is your hand, and ID is plural, and then you have fatha because of the same reason. So say marafiq. Remember we say mirfaq. So I just want you to make sure you can at least recognize, get some benefit from the things that we are learning in the Quran, right? So marafiq we talked about from the mirfaq. So Allah is saying clearly, wash your face and then your hands. And Allah also tells you up to what? Allah is not telling you wash your hand up to your shoulder. It's very, this verse is very explicit. It tells you what? Until what? Mirfaq is your elbow. Now I told you that, scholars, they translate ila in different ways. Some people say ila means including. Some scholars say ila means up to. That means it doesn't include. Anyway, that's I explained to you. There's a different opinion. Then what is this? Masaha is coming from the masaha. Okay, so im sahu. But we have wow. You know how hamzatul wasl work. So it's a wam sahu. So it's from the verb masaha, which we also learned. What is masaha? Wipe. Yes, these words you guys have to really should be back of your head. So wipe what? Wipe what? Bi ru'usikum. So see, now we have harful jar, which is b. B is b, comes in different meanings. That's why we have a kasra here. Yes, so the singular for head is what? You guys forgot? Ra'sun. And the plural is ru'us. Actually, if you are to write, I'm just going to say something. If you are to write, you would write the hamza not like that. It's the same situation. You would write the hamza with a wow on the top because it has a dhamma before it. Anyway, this rule, I don't want to confuse you with too many things right now. Okay, so it's the plural of ras, your heads. And what is this one? Arjulakum. What do you think it's coming from? You also have to use your context. We're talking about, right? It is the plural of the word rijlun. What is rijl? Hmm? Not man, not rajul. Rijl. We talked about rijl is leg. Yes. Arjulun would be the plural of leg. Yes. See, so nice. Allah is using the normal words, clarifying, simple way is teaching you how to do wudu. Ila kahabain. Here's Allah is using what? Is this a plural, singular, or what? Kahabain, dual. Yes. Okay. So you have to know all the rules, and these are, that's this Arabic language, right? Quran is in Arabic language. So the word is Kaab, which is ankle, and Ka'bain is the two ankles. So as you can see, that's good. This is the verse that it was talking about last time. Is it clear? So now, this wasn't part of our text, but I thought I would mention it so you can see how Allah is using the same words, same rules, everything in the Quran. Now, I hope you did the other ones. If you had any questions with these, you can ask me, inshallah. Okay, so now we have at-tadrib al-khamis, the fifth exercise. It says kawwin jumalan. Make sentences. Jumla is sentence. Jumla, not khumla, sorry. Jumla, and the plural is jumal. Jumalun. Okay, jumla, jumalun. So make sentences. Now, so this is very good exercise. I'll probably do few of them and you should try to do them yourself. It's very nice because you have all the words, you just have to arrange them and so that it is a complete sentence. Okay, so this is where your understanding of the Arabic sentence structure will come in handy, right? So we have what we have masa, as-sa'a, as-sadisa, al-an. Some of them it's not going to be easy. You have to really think, right? You have to think in order to make it. And sometimes it might have a multiple ways of doing it, right? You can say, as if I put, yeah, you can say as-sa'atu, as-sa'atul ana, as-sadisatu masa'an. Yes, you can say that. As-sa'atu al-ana. The time now is what? As-sadisatu as-sadisatu masa'an. Okay. Then we have, remember, I think I told you about a trick last time that if you can recognize a verb in a sense, like especially this kind of exercise, you have a verb, the chances are the best way to start is with the verb. Okay, so the idea is that first you look for the verb. If there is a verb, here we didn't have a verb, so you look for which one was the subject. Here you can see, do we have a verb? If I put 1, 2, 3, hold on, let me write this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is the verb? Yes, 4. So once you find the verb, so next one, I'll just put the number. You can give me the number in order. So you will start with the verb. As soon as you have the verb, you have to find the doer, who is the subject. You have a samya, then you, what is the best, how do we find subject from the grammatical perspective? What are we looking for? We're looking for the one that has a dhamma, right? So that's how we know the subject. So, and also, a lot of these things, you don't even have to look from too much grammar perspective. You can get it from the meaning, right? You want to say Samya, he heard, who heard? Al-ab. So then you say, now we have, the main setup. You have the verbal sentence, you have the verb and the doer. Now you look for, do you have object? Yeah, samia is the something, a verb that is transitive verb. It needs object. So the father heard what? And you also see, you have the father here. So that means you're looking at the object. So the father heard, samia al-ab, adana. Now we have, then what is al-maghrib doing? Who can tell me what maghrib doing? Looks like the sentence was clear. But yes, idafa. There's many ways you understand idafa. It's one of them is that adhan, it should be a, tanween. It doesn't have tanween, and I'm pretty sure you guys are getting the feel of the idafa. We don't have to talk about this all the time. You understand how the idafa works, and you can recognize them. So yes, so the adhan of the maghrib, and what goes here? What haraka goes here? Simple question. You guys know it goes kasra. Yes. Okay, next one, probably I'm going to few of them. I'm just going to write the number and see if you guys can figure it out. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Hmm. Give me a full order just by the numbers. Okay, actually this one, this one is actually hard because we have, this one is definitely hard. You have to know the meaning. So we have tawadda'at or tawadda'tu. Okay, so what is tawadda'tu? I perform wudu. Okay, because this do is for I, so you recognize this. Tawadda'a is to perform, and who performed? We have these two guys. The two at this point, I want you to really be very comfortable with this two, because all the ta, tu, ti, and sukun. The longer you take time not to recognize them or memorize them, the longer you will struggle. We had already three lectures on this, right? So we have, then this one is a verb. He said, and naam is yes, and then bakr. It's a little bit difficult. Let's see if you guys can figure it out. Okay, so, okay, let me do it and then I'll check your answer. This one is a little bit tricky because we have two verbs. Yeah, you say qala. Okay, you have to start from here. Qala. Now we have the verb. Who said it? Do you have the subject? Yes. So you say Bakr said. Now what did Bakr said? Bakr said. So that's what you have to think. Bakr said is what? Naam. This one will come from the context. It's simple, not that easy. It comes from the context that you read. Uh, from that. So Qala Bakrun. Bakr said, yes, tawadatu. Tawadatu. Yes, I performed wudu. Okay, this one is similar because you have to think, if you want to do this one for, it's kind of similar, meaning you have to think that somebody's answering and then saying. So you have to look at two separate sentences. Best way to think, you have to look at two separate sentences. For example, she said, I was sleeping. See, she said, I was sleeping. I'm just giving an example. So see if you can figure this one out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is big, but I think you guys should be able to do it. So we'll say that Fatima said, قالت, قالت. What is the haraka or what goes inside the two if I say Fatima? Hmm? How do you make a verb into feminine? Yes, sukun. So you have to say, قالت فاطمة. Now do the rest. Now do the rest. Hujra is the same thing as ghurfa, which is a room. Okay, so you guys understand? So Fatima said what? Now Fatima is saying, you can start with ana. Ana, huna. What is huna? Ana huna is here. Fi, in the hujra. And of course you get a kasra, hujrati. Okay, it's not that easy, but I'm saying it's something, you still maybe when you sit outside of the class and look at it, you should be able to get it. قالت فاطمة أنا هنا في الحجرة. Okay, makes sense. Okay, good. uh, this one is very easy if you know how to say inshallah. So anyway, I'll just quickly do this. قال سعيد. So قال سعيد. 1, 2. Actually, maybe I shouldn't. Let me remove these numbers because then later you might think that's the way to organize. That's not the case, right? Uh, so instead, I'll write the way to organize. Okay, so qala one, qala what, qala. See, this one is a little bit tricky. That you just have to know what is going on because you have two dhamma. Sa'idun has the dhamma and Allah also has the dhamma. So you can't say qala Allahu, Allah said, that is fine, but then you're going to get into trouble. The other one is not going to make sense. That if Said, how do you say that Allah said if Said wish? Subhanallah, this is like completely. See, that's why it's important that we have the arrangement and even the grammar properly. So it would be Said said, right? So the second would be the Said. Said said. Then would be third would be in, and the fourth would be Sha. And the fifth would be Allah. Oh, sorry, fifth would be Allah. So Said said, Inshallah. Okay, yes, you need the grammar and you also need what? You also need your meaning. Meaning has to make sense, right? Um, I think you guys can do this. All of them would be. So here just this is the last one I'm gonna do, and the last one you guys can do it. So ghasala Sa'idun what rijlayhi ila ka'bayn. What am I writing? Yes, ka'bayn. Okay, makes sense. So Sa'id washed his, remember rijlayhi, we explained this word is a little bit tricky. It is his two legs. I explain what's happening. How do you say, the leg is rijl, the two legs is rijlani, and then when you have in the object form, it's going to be rijlaini, and then when you put in the idafa, then the noon drops. So rijlaihi. This is something I hope the book will give us more examples so I can explain properly. But if you want to know more, you can listen to the previous lecture. And the last one, inshallah, you can do it. Now, okay, we have التدريب السادس, the sixth exercise. اقرأ, read. Okay, very nice. So now here we're going to learn a little bit about the grammar, about how do we deal with these different forms of the number, right? You say هذا معلم. This is a teacher. Then how do you say, these are two teachers? You say هذان معلمان. So uh, so as you can see in Arabic language, when you are constructing a sentence, the number has to match with the with the subject. So when you say hadani, these two, and this is also you have to, inshallah we'll learn this, talking about masculine. Hada for masculine singular, hadani for masculine dual. Okay, and haula'i is for masculine plural. First, learn it like this. Make sure you know this thing. Last time we talked about, you have to memorize like this. Hada, hadani, haula'i. And then what happens with the female? Hadihi, hatani, haula'i. Okay, so you have to know the whole chain. As you can see, that haula'i is same for both genders. So that is nice. Okay, so hada, hadihi. Hadani, hatani. Haula'i, haula'i. Okay, however you want to make it. So, or you can say the whole thing like this. Hadihi, hatani, haula'i. Hada, hadani, haula'i. Once you know this, then your demonstrative pronoun is set. Then when are you going to be using? Of course, when you're referring to one person, you will use the singular. هذا معلم, هذه معلمة. Now you're looking at two teachers. It depends on the gender. If it's two male teachers, you will say هذان معلمان. Okay, and two female teachers, هاتان معلمتان. And in our previous lesson, we clearly explained how easy it is to make a dual. What do? We just add alif and noon, ani. Okay, and then as you know that this tawel, change into your standard ta. The ta marbuta will change into standard ta because the ta marbuta can only be at the end of the word. It cannot be in the middle. Any word, right? You understand? And then we also talked about how do we make plural for masculine in this book. Uh, we talked about plural. I don't have too much time to get into it right now. We mentioned that there are two types of plural. You have sound plural and you have broken plural. The broken plural, where the word it's changed. So, for example, we said uh, mirfaq marafiq. You see, the words are changing. Waladun awladun, bintun banatun. So all of these changes that happens, those are broken. But then we have a sound plural, which is similar to the English, where you just add s or es. Uh, in Arabic, we have sound plural for masculine, which we simply add waw and noon. Okay. And for female, we add alif and ta. So it was muallimun, we say muallimuna. Okay. Muallimun, and we add alif and noon, and we have muallimuna. And of course, we have to lose our tanween. Remember, tanween can only, you can think of tanween can only come where? Huh? Or tanween can only come at the end, just like tamarbuta. It cannot be in the middle. Tanween can never be in the middle. So as soon as this meme, you push it into the middle, then we have to lose the tanween. Okay, same thing here. But here you have to remember one thing. We had the word muallimatun. Muallimatun. Right? So we had tamarbuta. Unlike in the dual we don't remove the tamarbuta, but in the plural we do remove the tamarbuta. Okay, something that we talked about. I just don't have time to spend too much time here, right? So what do? Mualli. So we remove the ta marbuta and we just add the alif and ta. Muallimatun. Make sense, guys? No. So now, as you can see, we have to match. So when we say these, and we're referring to a more than two, which is three or more, then we have to use ha'ula'i, and we have to use plural. Ha'ula'i muallimuna. You can say ha'ula'i muslimuna. Okay? Ha'ula'i mu'minuna. Even if it's broken plural, here they're just showing you the sound plural. You can say ha'ula'i rijalun. See? Ha'ula'i rijalun. These are men. You can say ha'ula'i nisa'un. These are women. Make sense, guys? No. And next we have التدريب السابع, the seventh exercise. اقرأ واكمل كالمثال. Read and complete, okay, كالمثال, as an example. So this is another a good exercise. I'll just do one and rest. If you do this exercise, these kind of things will be super, super easy for you. Okay. So basically they will give you one word and you make the whole chain. Okay. So for example, for the mudarris, you say هذا مدرس, هذان مدرسان, هؤلاء مدرسون. So muhandis, you will say هذا مهندس, هذان مهندسان, هؤلاء مهندسون. You understand? Very, very simple. Doesn't matter tayyar, you think it sounds so difficult. No, it's not difficult. So this is your singular. So you will add ani and you will add una. Ani is for dual. Una is for plural. Okay, so how does it go? Tayyarani. Huh? Tayyaruna. Oh, simple stuff. Okay, very simple stuff. Tayyar is pilot. These words, all of them, we saw these words before. Even the jazzar, I don't think anybody here, if you never went to the previous lessons, you would not know what jazzar means. Okay, jazzar is the butcher, somebody who cuts meat. You know what katib? Katib is a writer. So now all of them, you can see, is very simple. Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna, Katibun, Katibani, Katibuna. Very, very easy. You should go do all of them. Guys, you have to do something, right? Inshallah. Then we have التدريب الثامن, which is eighth exercise. Good. So the the previous one was for the masculine, right? As you can see, all of them is هذا, هذاني, and هؤلاء. And the next one is for feminine. هذه, هاتان, هؤلاء. Okay, same thing. Okay, so you just have to, only thing, the female one I want you to pay attention is about the issue with the ta marbuta. Okay, in the dual you don't remove the ta marbuta. Okay, that's the key thing. In the dual you don't remove the ta marbuta, but in the plural you do remove the ta marbuta. When we're talking about, this is the only thing you have to keep in mind. So you will say mudarrisatun, then you say mudarrisatani, it's a mouthful, and then you will say mudarrisatun. And as you can see, I always like to clarify this one. When you say, for example, muallimatun, this word, this sound is very, very close to the sound of the plural. Muallimatun, muallimatun. If you're not making the mud, if you're not making the this meme longer, then you're not saying it correctly. For example, if you understand the difference, muallimatun, muallimatun. If you say both of them same way, then we don't know the difference. So you have to say muallimatun, muallimatun. At least you have to take some initiative to make it long so that you can distinguish between them. Otherwise, you're not saying the proper thing. All right. These are, guys, you have to do them and then you have to repeat. Including myself, we have to read them loudly because we don't speak the language. If it was that we always speak, we're in the Middle East country, we're always talking, okay, fine, alhamdulillah, we don't have this issue. But since we're not speaking, only thing we're doing is reading in our head, then these pronunciations will be very difficult. Good. Now, okay, so this is so you guys can do this one, inshallah. It's very easy. And next one we have التدريب التاسع, the ninth exercise. It says أكمل كما في المثال, complete as in the example. We have قام الوالد, قامت فاطمة. We talked about this so many times. So now you have full exercise to play around with this thing so that you can really master this concept. Very simple, and especially this case is one of the simple thing. As you will see, when you add the other ta, it might be difficult sometimes, but adding the female ta, which is the ta with sukun, is super super simple, guys. Super simple. Just add it. Just add it, and you're done. So you have kama plus ta with the sukun, qamat. Not even the haraka changes, right? You just combine them. See, yeah, the fatha, everything is same. Nothing changes. You understand? So qara'a, qara'at, ghasala, ghasalat, masaha, masahat. When is it appropriate to pronounce the final haraka? Yes, it is. It is the same ruling as when the question is when to pronounce the last final haraka in the modern standard versus Arabic. It is the same ruling with the Quran. This one has no difference. Meaning, if you're stopping at the word, then you don't read the final haraka, just like the Quran. But if you're reading in the middle, then you have to pronounce it. Now, this is what we're talking about modern standard in a Fusha conversation, because you have to know that the Arabs, they don't speak like that. They don't speak in Fusha. So this is Fusha, means the modern standard Arabic, where we have all the grammars, the Arab, the ending, everything is in there. But when they speak, even if they speak very close to the Fusha, they will sometimes not pronounce the ending. And believe it or not, sometimes because they don't know what goes in the ending, so they would rather just leave it. So can I say Kama? Yes, you have to say Kama al Walid. You have to say, because if you can say Kama al Walidu if you want to say something else, but when you're stopping Kama al Walid, that's fine. You can say Walidu also, But as I said, the ruling is the same as the Quranic Quranic recitation. But the only reason sometimes when we read the ending in when we're learning, so that we understand, because we're learning, we want to make sure that we know what goes at the end. Okay, so sometimes it would be better for you not to pronounce. If you're confused, then pronounce something wrong, which will confuse the listener, because the Arab, if you don't say anything, they will know from the context. They can figure it out. But if you put the haraka, it will just, and you make it wrong, it will just confuse them. Because, for example, if you say kamal walidu, they understand. If you say kamal walid, they understand. But if you say kamal walida, now they're confused. Somebody made the father to stand up, because now you're seeing the father is the object. They will get confused. You understand? So just yeah, keep those things in your mind. Okay. Now, so we have atamma. You say atammat. So this word you will see when we do the other thing. When we do the other ta, this word is very, very crazy. Inshallah, I don't want to confuse you here. I'm pretty sure the book will teach you how to conjugate, especially when you have double the shadda. The shadda ones, sometimes you keep it as a shadda, sometimes you have to open the shadda. Okay, you have to split it and then do the conjugations. No. So the other ones, samia, samiat. Okay, so all of these things, guys, it's very simple, I think, inshallah. And we talked about this. You should write them yourself and also read them. So here, for example, the first one, you say ghasal al walidu, you say ghasalat fatimatu. You can use the same name. That's what they want. They just want you to make sure you understand the difference between these two verb forms. One is masculine and one is feminine. He and she. Okay. Uh, Let me see if I have time to do one more or not. Maybe not.